I'm nearly there, boys. 1 second because I'm a bit late as usual, but I'm coming. Few seconds. Just setting up the avatar and everything. The avatar looks good. Center, broadcast. Okay. Okay. Think we're ready. Is it connected to Twitch or to YouTube? This one, I have no idea. I have no idea. Here I am. Okay. I'm there. Oh, I'm here. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, boys and girls. Hello, Tony. Hello, Hula. Hello, Rwanda. Hey. I don't know if I have the small avatars connected to Twitch or to YouTube. I think I have them connected to Twitch. Yes. By the way, there is Unreal Engine streaming. Maybe. You played. Wow. Okay, so yes, Unreal Engine is streaming. If I go on Twitch, at least it was streaming. There is some people streaming actually. Yeah, they are streaming right now. I don't know exactly what they are doing, but they are working on the Unreal Fellowship Curriculum Deep Dive. I think they are speaking about how to make trailers and such, I think. Yeah, it's a kind of a showcase of this. This was the Unreal Engine 5 showcase, I think, and they are working on that. I will just say hello just because I just want to be there. I would say go Unreal Engine people. Okay, that's it. If you want to follow them, that's nice. If not, you can follow me, and it's the same. It's the same. Okay, so what is the good news of today? The good news of today is that the alpha is ready. It's ready for Windows and is ready for Linux, which is very nice. We tested it a bit, and at the moment there are not any major problems, so I think we can release it as is. The only problem we have is I can explain you the problem. There is a bit of a problem with the UI. So let me see if I can explain it. So basically, in the game, right, whenever the client starts, there is a series of files that are saved on exactly here on save game, right? Actually, there are 3 of them. There is audio, UI layout, and there is another one that now you don't see, but I will just pretend that it's there, okay? Which is called macros.save, okay? So there are like these three files, and these 3 files are storing some information about the game. Well, let me stop the music maybe, because it's still going. And let me also change a bit the screen. Where are we? Boom. Okay, now I'm smaller. Where are the little guys? The little guys are there. So there are these files, right, which are stored in yeah, the quality is also, but anyway, they are stored in the save game, and these files are actually keeping your setting for let's say music volume, ambient volume, UI volumes, right? That is the first one. The second one is keeping track of your shortcut bar. Okay, so this one is the shortcut bar save. So if you want to save your shortcut, this one is the one to use. And the last one, which is UI layout, is actually the position of the window, position of windows, and also is let's say if there are any windows that are open or closed, right? So it's not only position, but it's also if a certain window is open, it will be reopened when you join again, right? So that's a bit how it works. Now the problem that we have, that is on the client, right? The problem that we have is that this last file is a bit sensitive on changes. So if I add a new window or if I add a new functionality, at the moment is not retro compatible with the previous version. And so what happens is that this file is basically loading kind of wrong information, and your client is not opening the windows the way it should. Okay, so the file is called, just to make it a bit bigger, is called UI layout.sav, as in is inside save games or saves, I don't remember, but anyway, in your local application data, right? Now the problem is that, hello Maui, hello Marcelo, good evening. The problem is that with the new release, the 077 that I just put out, well, I mean, at the moment it's sitting still on my PC, but is ready, so I can publish it anytime. With this version, we are changing some of the windows, right? And so what happens is that if you don't delete this file manually, right, some stuff is not going to work the way it is. Now I need to find a better way. So I need to find a way to like flag the version of the UI layout, and if that changes, just delete it automatically, or I don't know. I have to think to a way, you know, because I cannot ask to the players to delete manually a file all the time. Also, some players maybe will just download and will never, you know, never connect to any Discord or website or whatever. So I think it will be not possible for us to communicate to them this information. So it needs to work, period, right? It just needs to work. But at the moment it's not. So when you are going to download 077, my suggestion, I mean my request more than my suggestion, otherwise it's not going to function properly, is to delete, you can delete all those files, it's not a problem. All the save game. The save game is usually in your local app data /PS Unreal. Okay, you can delete also the whole directory, the whole PS Unreal, but yes, here under saved there is a bunch of stuff, including configs, crashes, logs. Logs may be useful in case something goes wrong, and also save games. Yes, and you see here, you see the 3 files where we have the save games, right? Yeah, so that's the thing. That's the thing to remember. Now, I didn't do the Patreon post yet. I think I will do it later today. I mean tonight. If you really want to download it now, maybe I can do a pre-post. I can put a post with the links and you start download it. It's about 5 gigabytes. It's slightly smaller, incredibly enough. It's slightly smaller than the previous version. Is this one? Is this one? PS Unreal Windows 077 is 4.7 giga at the moment, the Windows version, and is 4.5 the Linux version. There are some changes to the way I packaged the release. The first difference is that I finally found a way to avoid appending suffixes to the exe file and to the project files and such, because actually in the previous version somehow the Unreal Engine, when packaging, was appending W64 or Win64 and then shipping, right? And there is a very good finding that I discovered, which is a way to avoid that. And so now the name of the app, right, or the name of the app, let's call it, is shorter, so it's different. So it's just PS Unreal. It's no more PS Unreal Win64 or PS Unreal Linux client, whatever. And it is simplifying a bit our deploy, right? Our deployment instructions. I worked quite a bit on improving the deployment yesterday evening. I didn't stream, and I was basically doing all the deployment and listing all the steps. I've improved all the steps. I think now it's fairly solid. Like in this file, I have listed every single command that I need to launch, including the tar files, including moving to directories, renaming file, removing file. Whatever I need to do is listed here. So now I would say it's already the third time or fourth time, probably, yeah, the third time I think that I run it with this set of instructions. And so I'm fairly confident that we can execute it again and again without too much trouble, which is nice. Now, the Macintosh one, the Apple one is still working. Okay, so it's still there working on it. Unfortunately, I launched it, I think at this point is nearly 2 days ago, right? And at a certain point it stopped and crashed with an error, right? So I did the fix that I think is going to fix it, but then I had to relaunch the whole process. And on Mac at the moment it's going fairly slow. The reason it's going so slow is because, as you remember, I'm using a Mac Mini, and the Mac Mini is not the fastest machine in existence. Also, it's a pretty old Mac Mini. Hello, Gian. Welcome back. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. But basically is going through the cooking and is cooking something like 25,000 files or so, and it takes quite a bit for each file. Is totally out of memory at the moment, in the sense that it's using 7 GB and the machine only has 4. And so it's swapping to disk like crazy. Just a second, I need to take okay, I'm back. And so the machine is swapping to disk like crazy, right? And it is one of the issue of why it's taking so long. But at the end, I mean, it's working by itself, so it's not really bothering me, apart from the fact that it will take a bit more to have the Mac release. I wanted to publish them all together. So I wait a second, there is something I need to. I wanted to publish the Windows, Linux, and Mac at the same time, and so this is why I was holding a bit the Windows one. But let's see if it takes really too much. If it stops again, I will just release the Windows and Linux. Okay, but the good news is that they are ready. Okay, you see here, if you want to see the progress, basically now is saying the real progress is this one. That is the real progress. So let me put it in a place where you can actually maybe read it. So he's saying that he cooked 10,633 packages, and there are 9,000 remaining. So it's more than 50% at least. But consider that it is running since, I don't know, at this point, something like 9 hours. So I think the total process takes about 20 hours on that machine. But the main reason is that it's lacking memory, I think. But okay, let's just let it go. I'm good, Gion. Everything is okay. We are releasing the new alpha, which I'm pretty happy about. We packaged it. Seems to work fine. There are few quirks here and there. I mean, it's not perfect, but obviously it's an alpha. So, but it's good enough. It runs. I didn't see any big crashes. I saw one crash, but I fixed it already. It was server side. Now the server is up. The only thing that I need to do maybe is to relaunch the server in relaunch the server with NPC on, right? Because at the moment I think that the server is running, but is running with NPC off. I'm just checking what it's doing. It's not doing much because without NPC, obviously there is not much movement, right? So I think I will just stop it. And I will just change the configuration file. If you want, I can make it a bit bigger so you can read it. Change settings, appearance, font, 14. Okay, apply. Okay, so now maybe you can see it better. Yeah, so what I want to do, I just want to go into config, and there is a config file here which is default server config, which is having our settings, right? And this one is saying repopulate NPC false, so I will put it to true, and then I will just relaunch the server script, right? And that's it. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes to start, but yeah, maybe the one of you that want to have the link, yes, just DM me. I think it's probably easier. I will do the Patreon post later on, and no, I will post now on, for the one of you that are Patreons, I will just post it on I will just post it on Patreon. Let me just copy the links. Yeah, my request is obviously if you can avoid sharing the link with anyone else, that would appreciate it, so that we have only the people that should be there connected, right? The reason is primarily that if we have too many people connected, it starts to be a bit confusing, and also is using resources a bit on the machine, and is so I think I prefer if I mean, I'm just copying the links and putting them in the supporters channel. By the way, if you are not a supporter, you want to become a supporter, we have a nice Patreon site that you can connect, or okay, I posted it now. So I posted it now in the supporter link, in the supporter page. We'll do a proper Patreon post later on. For the other ones, yes, maybe just message me. Sorry, I'm just answering to the messages of the people. Okay. Okay, so the server is loading. Yeah, it is a bit verbose, I have to say. Maybe we can avoid that verbosity. But at the moment it's a bit verbose. I can stop. It's just loading up. As you can see, it's loading up all the NPCs, their equipment and all that stuff. So once he's up, we can connect. I saw a few things that I don't understand exactly why they're happening. Like when you are using the, let me launch our server. The only thing I need to be sure is that I don't have all the maps, because if I have all the maps, it's GG. Okay, it will take like forever. So I can launch the server on my machine and we can connect with the new client, just because the other server is still running. I just saw few quirks here and there, few problems, but should not be game breaking. There is one with the move object and rotate object that for some reason the labels are not displayed. So it seems that I think what is happening is that let me try to launch it with the released version. Okay. So the released version is this one. So if I launch this client, right? If I launch this one is the released one. There is another thing. If you hear music and you don't want to have music, because I did some tests on the music, if you remember. So when the game starts, you may hear the background music. If you don't want it, okay, just go under setting, audio, and put it to 0. Okay, otherwise you will hear it. Okay, if you want to hear it, okay, you can just choose the volume you prefer. But this one can connect only to the, okay, this one can connect only to the test server, which I don't think is up yet. I can try, but I don't think it's up yet. I think it's still loading. I think the server is still loading. Okay, so what I want to work on tonight, anyway, I think we can do a few tests. I can give you a list of the issues, but they are not too game breaking, so I think you will survive after you downloaded it, and you should be fine. I don't think I'm gonna do an update with the patcher. Okay, so let me maybe make just a kind of a release now, a quick list of things that I want to say, and this will be a kind of a file for Patreon as well. Maybe I can just put it in a text file. So okay, so the first thing is be sure to delete your save game. Reason is that the new UI is not retro compatible, so you need to clean it, right? So on Windows is under, let me just put this, is under, we said local app data slash PS Unreal, right? Slash saved slash save game. So so on Windows is local app data and then this thing. So you can delete the whole directory. You can delete the whole directory, it's no problem. Now then the second thing I wanted to say is the so you will hear music in the login screen and in game. To disable or lower the volume from the login screen, just click on settings and then audio. Unfortunately the one in game I don't think is working. I think the one in game is not working, so don't try to do that. I mean, you can try, but it will do nothing. And in theory the setting should be saved. So the other thing I wanted to tell you, yes, is the transformation mode. So if you right click on an item, right click on an item on the ground that you own, because the point is that you have to own it, you will see a new icon for transformation mode. This allows you to move and rotate the item. To exit from that mode, just click on it again. So you just need to right click again the item, just right click again an item and select again the transformation mode icon. Okay, because some people were confused. I mean, some people meaning some of the developers were confused because they were right clicking the first time and then didn't know exactly what to do. By the way, I think the server is up as well. Okay, nice. So I can also show you. I think I can also show you. Right. So I think these are the three main problems that I saw. The other thing, I don't know why the guild window is always popping up. I have no idea why. For some reason, the guild window is always popping up at the start. I mean, just ignore it. Just close it. I think that for players, it may ask you, if you are not GM, it may ask you to create a guild. Just say no. Yeah, for some reason that window is popping up all the time. I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, you see there is the music. So basically the thing is, yes, if I drop any item, right, like this one, and then I right click, you see that there is this new transform icon. No, the rotating mode is completely new. I built it in the last week or so. I think last week we did it. I think it was like 3 or 4 sessions where I built it. So when you enter this mode, you see these arrows, right, that you can drag up and down, and you can move the item. And also there is this translation and world. I don't know why. There is still the problem. Fuck it. There is this translation and world which for some reason didn't take the text. I don't know why it says this. I think it's because in shipping mode is stripping out the names of the enumerations, and I think I was using the names of the enumeration as yeah, I'm pretty sure the problem is that one, because there must be no other reason. You see, I have this enumeration which is pointing to move, rotate, and scale, and actually you can use move and rotate, but I think that the display name of the enumeration in shipping is probably removed, because instead of getting this name, I'm getting the TT translation, which I think is kind of, yeah, this thing. Or if I click on it, I get TT rotation. But anyway, one should be rotate and the other should be move. So there is a bit of an issue on that. But yes, here you can rotate the object, and you can move it. And you also have 2 different kind of translations: the local translation, the local and the world. But now I think I need to make it. I think I need to make these arrows somehow scaled to the object, because as you can see, like on this object, they are really super big. And so yes, you can see the item, but for the rotation I think is okay, but for the movement I think you basically have the arrows that are really big compared to the item itself. Another thing that I want to do, I will change it. Okay, the music had decided that he want to go full. Which one is it? It's this one. Yes, I think. Another thing that I want to do is that you cannot move the item too far away from you. Okay, so at the moment you can have this thing fly, and you can have this thing fly as much as you want, right? I mean, you can boost it. I think you can boost it to the sky like 300 meters. I mean, and doesn't make any sense. So I think I will limit it in distance in the future. At the moment there is no limit. You can move it as you want, as far as you want, right? But yes, there is a new tool. I think it's pretty cool. The arrows are resizing based on the... I think maybe I can make the arrow a bit smaller as well, but metadata is stripped in shipping, right? Yeah, this is what I was so when you have to exit from this, right, because otherwise arrows will appear everywhere, you just right click on the item and you just click on transformation mode again. Okay, I think in the future I will put a small exit here in this menu, so they will be easier to understand. At the moment doing it again is a bit annoying. Yeah. Okay, but it seems to be working. The inventory seems to be working. Everything seems to be working. So I think it's fine. We still have a problem with this. We still have a problem with some of the plate items. Yes, there are also news here on the exchange window, on the inventory window. The weight, the capacity is kind of working. And holy moly, I never saw this. Is listing also the effects that are given by the items? Really? Is listing the items here? I didn't know that. I thought it only... This is the spell window. Well, this is the active effects on you window. So, and probably these things have an effect of some kind on me, and they are listed here, or is a bug. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can also allow to change the... At the moment... At the moment, the way changing is by distance. So if you are very far away, and you click on that, the arrow becomes bigger. You see, and so you can still rotate it. If you go close and you click on it, it becomes smaller. So it's already kind of dependent on. So it's already scaling itself based on the distance from the camera, but I probably feel it's still a bit too big, but who cares? Yeah, so I think you should go and test it. Hello, Monty, welcome. I think you should go and test it and connect and let me know if things are working. I found one bug when I do /who. Sometimes the server is crashing. I think it's crashing only when I think it's crashing when someone is disconnected. Like for example, now there is me and Zwei in the on the server. I think if some of us disconnects, and while we are disconnecting, the other does a /who, I think the server is crashing, because I didn't exactly understand how to detect that a player where actually an actor is no more valid. Right. Okay, so okay, I think we should work on what we want to work tonight, but I just wanted to give you these updates. Meanwhile, the Mac Mini is running. So what we want to work on tonight is the continuation of the Codex. I think that the Codex is a very interesting feature. By the way, I had a super crazy idea that I don't know if I want to tell you or not, but I had a crazy idea on how to combine the Codex with the Collectibles with something to do in game, but I'm not gonna disclose it yet because I don't even know if I want to do it, but I'm thinking on it. So where do we have our file? I think it should be here, right? Under Unreal Mission Compendium. I don't remember if it was Unreal Mission Compendium 2. Yeah, I think it was a Compendium 2 because it was the kind of action plan. Okay, so if you remember, we stopped discussing about a Compendium some time ago, and we didn't actually create an action plan for it, but we decided a lot of the pieces, right, that we want to have in the Compendium. I think I also waited some time to have my mind kind of settle on what I wanted to do, and also to speak a bit with the other devs and see what they were thinking about it. And I think at the moment I have a decent view of that. Now, what I would like to kind of design tonight is a bit of the look. So how the compendium will look. I don't know if I want to do it in Unreal Engine or I want to do it on paper first. Maybe on paper. But just to recap, the compendium or the codex is, or the journal, how you want to call it, I think we will call it compendium, is basically a way where you can collect pieces of the game, of lore in the game, so that you can review them later on, okay? And also where you can see a bit of your overall knowledge, right? So, well, I can even create a screen here. I mean, I think for prototyping, I think can be good enough. So there will be a window. Well, actually, will be a set of windows for the compendium. I think will not be one only, but let's create a win compendium. I think it will be a set of widgets and windows. I don't know if it's very easy to prototype directly inside of this thing, but we can try. We can try. So the first thing is to organize the different panels. First of all, I think it should be full screen, okay? I think there is no way, there is so much information into it that I don't think it can be a window. I mean, a window, just a small window. I think it should be full screen. Now, if we go back to the examples that we got, right? Maybe on the layout, they can help us a bit, at least to give us some ideas. We had all these compendiums here. I didn't capture the one of Cyberpunk, but I have it in my mind. So the first one that we analyzed was this one of Warframe, right? In which they have basically a first window, but I don't think it's this one, because this one wasn't there another one which was like the... Yeah, I think so, but unfortunately it's not here. Anyway, they had an initial page which is all made of pictures like this. Anyway, it's exactly like this, but this one is already, as you can see, is already under quests. Okay, but I remember it was no, I didn't save it probably. Okay. Yeah, but something like this one, okay? Universe. Yeah, like this one, universe, okay? I think it makes sense, universe. So where they have different sections that you can click, and they are already representing a bit of the section you will go to. Now, if you click on one, then you will enter a completely different window. Right? I don't know if we like this, but it is one way to do it. Right? So we could have a picture of our races, a picture of our location. The problem is the amount of information that we need to display. Because, sorry, the action plan, let's put at least one. No. Let me go Arial. I think defining the layout is kind of important, because otherwise, if we don't start from somewhere, so we already defined here below all the pieces that we want to have in the compendium and all the way they should be activated, right? I mean, at least I have some ideas on that. At least I had some ideas. So, for example, the first one, which is the main plot, main mission, I think is something that we can easily, immediately give to the player, right? The problem is that how many, because or we group them somehow, or they are really a lot. All the one in green is the stuff that I would like to have in the compendium. All the one in green. So main plot, main missions, which doesn't include quests, because quests are up here. Factions and organizations, creatures, plants, minerals, playable races, pets, rare items, crafting or relevant. So it's so much. So, or I mean, I don't think I can do, what I'm saying is that I don't think I can do one picture for each as a kind of navigation menu. And also, I don't think I can do a top menu like this with all of the items. Right? Something like a tree of navigation on the left and a description on the right. I would like to have it a bit more visual, you know. So the tree is so much old school. I mean, I like it because I'm old, but I think a tree will not be the best way to navigate, or not the most visually appealing way to navigate. One way that I like is also, I think is in the Warframe. I will show you something else. I think the guys at Warframe are doing so good stuff that just a second, because I need to probably log in or whatever. Where is the Let me try to see if I can show you. No, it was not this one. Was not this one. It was similar. It was in slices. Why is no more? Ah, it's in slices now. Okay, look at this. Look at this UI idea. Okay, look at this UI idea. So basically, they have different panels which actually are slices, right? That you can access just by clicking on it, and it becomes like the current one. Fuck, now I lost it. I don't know why. Ah, because it's up here. I mean, it's a kind of a weird style, I have to say. Also because at the end is a bit confusing because you don't know exactly where you are. And you are... Like now you are in the what's new, and there are 4 subcategories of the what's new. If you go to Prime Access, there is only 1. If you go to Build Nodes, there is only 1, right? But if you go to what's new, there are like 4. I don't know. I think it may be a bit confusing, actually. Yeah, maybe it's confusing. I think I don't like it. I don't like it, but it popped into my mind. There is another navigation way, another way to navigate, right? But I think we will have to also, or we group these things somehow. Let me try to see if we can group them somehow, okay? And let's try to get, for now, only sorry, only the ones that we are 100% sure that we want, okay? The ones that we don't want, I will just simply, for now, delete, and we will not consider them at all. So can we group this thing somehow? Well, there is some stuff, like for example, creatures, yes, like creature, plants, and minerals, and maybe player races and pets, which is basically flora and fauna somehow, okay? So it's basically the biology, right? It's basically the biology of the world. So it's like the biosphere. I don't know how to call it, but it's like the biodomain, right? Maybe you say that minerals are not into bio, but ecosystem, yeah. So yeah, it's like, so this probably could be one block. Then the main plot, main mission, I don't really know if we need to have one high category for it, but probably yes. Then there is items. Then there is regions. There is the world in terms of locations. Okay, so this one I think stands out pretty much by itself, right? But for example, knowing who are the NPC, the sentients and NPC like trainer, banker, storage, and crafters, I think we can have it as a subsection of this. So I'm seeing this piece as one piece, like his world knowledge. I don't know how to say, but it's like the knowledge of the locations, the regions that you already reached, plus the relevant people that you encountered, right, during your adventuring. So I think at the moment that this piece is kind of one thing, and this thing can be a second thing, right? Yeah, it can be flora and fauna, but I think flora and fauna minerals are still not flora and not fauna, but I think we can put it under yeah. Now we have magic basic concept and explanation. This one I really have no idea. This starts to be, you know, lore. Religion, gods and priests, and factions and organizations. So probably these three pieces. I don't know if you see these three pieces going together, but maybe they can. Because at the end, religion is just another faction, you know. So religion is just a group of people organized under the same flag, right? So I think if we speak of gods and religion, I think it can go together with factions and organizations, no? Yeah, like the social organization. Now, items, I think it should be by itself somehow, mainly if they are rare items. I still need to think what to do with these rare items actually, but and magic. So probably religion can be a subset of factions and organizations. Even if, you know, one thing is describing a faction related to Langs, and another thing is describing the history, the lore. I don't know. Magic basic concept. Also, this one I really don't know where to fit it. Let me see the ones that I said that I wanted to put in, but I mean the possible are this one with like one mark to the left. Okay, this one. So history, government, notes and document, art gallery, collectibles. Yeah, collectibles. Collectibles, yes, but maybe the collectible we put it under the achievements. But anyway, I think it takes some time before we go there. Books and songs, history. For example, you know, the history of the races, as soon as you learn about the history of the races, I think it would be very nice to have them in your compendium. I don't know if you will learn it through a book or if you learn it by speaking with NPC, but will be nice. So I think this magic basic concept explanation is a bit weird. Because then what about combat, you know? What about crafting? What about mining? What about fishing? I mean, magic is a bit like the jobs, you know, like explaining, I mean, some of the mechanics of the game, but also some of the possibilities you have in the game. So this looks more like a manual, you know, like explaining how the game works. So I don't know if I'm fully comfortable with this one. Yes, crafting and magic are almost the same stuff. Yes, I think that one could be I cannot call it jobs because it's not possible to call it jobs, because magic is not jobs, but it cannot be jobs, but is it's something where maybe we put you know, I think there is more functional knowledge on how to use the game, but I don't know if I want to put it there. I think we can exclude the magic. Because if we put it in the lore, okay, if we put this in the lore, it becomes a training guide. And we said that the training guide, the training and help, so how to do things, there is how to do things, we said that it stays in its own window, right? Which is a help window that is teaching you how to do things in the game. But I think it's a fine line, right? Hello, Jose. Hi. How are you? But I think it's a fine line, you know, between, because you can teach magic to someone in a kind of an in-character way, right? And you can teach to him in a kind of a just click this button kind of way. So I think it's a, but let's say that at the minimum, I mean, just to consider the boxes. At the minimum, we have one box, which is this one, which is very large. One other box here. One box here. Which, I mean, I'm not fully sure that we need it, but I think would be nice anyway. Would be nice to have. This box, which is absolutely needed, and it will explain a bit about the factions organization of the game, how they are organized, including religion. And as soon as you discover them, they will be explained here. It's true that we have a faction window. Eh? We have a window dedicated to factions in the game. But that window is mainly to explain you what are the benefits, right? There is more of the lore behind the factions and organizations. So, I don't know. How do you feel about these rare items? Because these rare items sometimes is confusing me a bit. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna put there, right? I'm not 100% sure. So just to give you the kind of priority, I think that the one at the top, so the bio domain, the main plot, main mission, the regions, locations, and city are the three main pieces that I want to have in. These three pieces. These ones are kind of nice to have. These ones are kind of nice to have, and I'm not fully convinced that we need to put them now, you know, because I think they're a bit harder to do. Rare items, I don't know. I mean, okay, apart from the Gal card that we described the other day, I mean, what other rare items I may have, you know? Faction, organization, religion. Yeah, I had the idea of the shrines, which by the way are under work. The shrine are under work, and so it's basically three main categories. These three main categories. And then there can be a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth category that can be just a generic lore and history. So let's say that at the maximum we are speaking about 6 main categories, right? yeah, speaking about 6 main categories. So going back to our example, right? Now, if I take, no, I don't know which kind of picture I want to take, but the question is, can we compose a menu, right? Can we compose a menu with our own pictures that is showing those 6 categories? And does it make sense? I mean, is the result a nice result or not? I think the easiest for me will be to pick the picture of the day where I have a lot of pictures of plane shift and just select one of them or something like that. Where the hell do I have that? I think it's under storage somewhere. Yes, it's here. So these are all the picture of the day. I think the best would be like a view from far away, and then I will remake it. Okay, for now it's just to take a picture of something. For example, this one could be the organization and associations or something, the factions and associations, because it seems, I don't know, it seems like a building of a guild or something, right? So I think it could be a factions and association block. I don't know if it should be that big, probably not. But it will be only something like this, right? But and at the moment is a bit dark. Okay, so okay, but we will not be this picture. Okay, will not be this picture. But just to say, can we have in the compendium something like this that then is a kind of a box, you know, at the bottom, which is saying, I'm just you know, I'm just experimenting at the moment, okay? So I'm not finalizing anything. I'm just trying to see if the result is something that we may like or not. Region, locations, landmarks, cities. This also will be, I mean, will not that be easy to name it, to name this thing, right? But I think at the minimum, this one will be locations and people. I think that's the way we can name it. I think it would be like locations and people. It will be this one, right? Then creatures, plants, minerals, and all of that, I don't know. I think we need to make it, because I think will be one picture where we have some creatures, but I think we have to remake it. I don't think we have any. Some of these pictures are super old, right? Like 15 years old. So they may even be of the previous. So okay, but let's say, I mean, it's not the best, but for now, let's say that this one would do it. Okay, so we will have another box, which I don't know how we want to organize, but there will be another box, which is which hopefully will be the same size, you know, and will be nice looking and whatever. For now, I'm just making it as I can. There will be another box, which is kind of bio domain. How can we call it? Someone said ecosystem, but ecosystem. I don't know. How can you put together flora, fauna, and minerals? I mean, if you have flora and fauna and minerals together, what is it? Is the planet? Is the nature? Maybe it's nature. Nature? Because I think that biological domain why if I click on biological it speaks about psychology? I think biological is excluding minerals, unfortunately. Biology. Biology is the natural science of study life and living organism. Yeah, it's excluding, unfortunately, is excluding the minerals. So I need biology plus minerals. Which I don't know what it means. I mean, if he has a name, maybe we can just call it nature, you know? Just call it nature. Because biology is not enough. Or we call it flora, fauna, and minerals. I mean, you can also have a long name. Flora, fauna, and minerals, but ecosystem. Someone said ecosystem, but ecosystem can be used also in other... I mean, ecosystem can also be a business ecosystem, you know? So... biome. Yeah, I was thinking to biodome or biome, but I don't know if... Usually you say there is like a biome of like a tropical biome, right? Or a snow biome or something like that. So is like a habitat. Yes, is like a type of environment that has some specific characteristics that makes life harder or easier or whatever or special, right? I think we can just call it flora, fauna, and minerals. Do we have anything else apart from... We have creatures. You can call it creatures, plant, and minerals. And under creatures, we will put mounts, playable races, and pets. Even if I would like playable races to have their own kind of special place, because I think for the playable races, we have more information, but I think they can be considered creatures like just anyone else. I think actually creatures, playable races, pets, and mounts will be one category only, and then they will be flagged, you know? The only reason I separated playable races is because I think I want to include some culture and history and some of how they are. But I think at the end is creatures, plant, and mineral. Probably, you know, I think it's easier if we just call it creatures, plants, and mineral. I think it's probably easier if you just call it what it is. Okay? It is what it is. It is creatures, plants, and minerals, including players. And including, yeah. Okay. Then the other big piece is the main plot, the main mission. This one I think will be very hard to find a picture for it. I think the only picture that I can think of. Why when because I was searching the bad reviews of Plane Shift before because someone told me that there were bad reviews, but I didn't find actually any. I mean, I found a few, but very, very few. Someone told me that there was some review speaking about you know how bad Plane Shift was, but there are some that are like dated 2006, 2007. Do we have a picture of the All-in Well? We have a map. I think, guys, you need to post more pictures of our game with a name on it somewhere, okay? Because we don't find enough information about Plane Shift online, and it's a pity. And it's just a matter of you posting stuff. Sometimes, you know, pictures or videos or whatever, or tweets or Facebook posts or whatever. We don't have enough. I don't have that picture, but that picture I think was kind of cool. Maybe it's here in the picture of the day, because I think it should be a picture. I think it should be a picture that is a bit evocative, you know. Something like this could do it. It's just super dark. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it should be just something that doesn't mean anything, but is a bit mystical. Something that is a bit mystical. And we can retake it, I mean, it's not... Well, it can also be this. Can also be a large picture of the game, but... I think I want it to be more mystical. Like, this just looks like a city. I mean, it's a nice picture, by the way, apart from the yellow boxes that are down there, but... You are seeing all the picture of the day in one run. Right? Which is insane, huh? Yeah, I mean, this one is very, very, very old, but something like this. I mean, it doesn't really mean much, but is like you in a journey, you know? Should be something that explains the fact that you are on a journey and you are going somewhere. Not this one. I don't think there is a one that, well, taking only the statue and a piece of the back can be evocative enough. Oh my god, is this guy really fighting this thing? Poor guy. Yeah, this one is not bad, for example. Okay, for now this will do it. I think this picture is one of the first pictures that we ever made, by the way. But I think it's evocative enough. It's a kind of dark as well, but I will change them all anyway. Don't worry. It's just an example, because I want to understand is if with a decent, right? Why I cannot just make it. Okay. Okay, it's better as it is. The point is that it should be kind of a composition. So, or we make it as big as this, or we make it horizontal somehow. Or we make it and again, it's just a test. Don't be too focused on this. So the question is, do we like to have a kind of a menu which is actually just a collection of pictures? So instead of having a menu at the top, we will have a menu like this, right? We will have a menu like this. Do you like it, or do you think is annoying after the first time you see it? I mean, like the first time is nice, and then the second, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, it starts to be annoying. But this will be, how do we call it? The main plot, main mission. So this will be the major steps that you took in the game. So actually it's probably the one that is hardest for me to do at the moment, because we have some pieces of the main plot, but they are not fully developed. Apart from the background history of your race, right? Which I think it can be unlocked immediately after you create a character. By the way, this whole thing should be per character. There is a super important question, boys, that we didn't put here. There is a question 4, which is this thing per character? I think it must be per character, right? Per character, I mean that if you make a new character, your lore disappears. To me, the answer is yes. I don't know what you think, but I mean, making it by account will be a bit of a mess. To me is yes. I mean, it's a good question because it's a question that we have to ask ourselves, but to me is yes. So how do we call it? The main mission is not the quest. So for example, you complete a full quest chain, okay? You complete a full quest chain and you become master of the ways of the dark or of the red or whatever, right? That will not be in this, right? But if you complete, I don't know, if you discover, you know, one piece of the stone labyrinths which is bringing you closer to the surface or is bringing you closer to understand what is going on this world, then it will be there. I don't know if it's too much of a spoiler at the end. So in the sense that people that finish the game will just take a screenshot of that and publish it. But I think we'll be okay. Yeah? We'll be okay. I mean, but why I want it? The question is why I want this. I want this because I would like the people to have a sense of progression and purpose and what they are doing into the game, right? And trying to express it also in a way that it looks like a mission or like a journey for them, and put it in pieces. I'm not 100% sure that we can do it actually, but maybe this one we can leave. I mean, this one is super important, but at the moment we don't have a lot of material for it. You know, we don't have a lot of material. So I think that if we go, you know, to the real basics of what we have, we may decide to remove this one, or anyway, to keep it as a kind of a second priority, and having only these two major blocks in the compendium for now. And so if we do this, because on this one, okay, this one I really like. This one I really like. The problem is that I don't have enough material today. So if I put it there, it will stay empty forever, you know. It will stay empty for so much time. Well, not empty because the first 2 or 3 pieces I can populate right now, but then it will stay kind of empty. So you will basically have a significant portion of the compendium which is taking space on your screen, which is basically having one, 2, 3 entries forever, right? No, well, not forever, but let's say for the next year. And then maybe in 1 year from now, there will be something else. But it's probably not a good idea to have it, you know? I think it's probably better if we split this into... So if we split creatures, plants, and minerals, well, minerals I think is small enough. Or we keep it, but we keep it disabled, right? We keep it, but we keep it like with a gray color on top, so that you can see it, but it's not clickable at the moment. There is also an option. There is also an option, so we can make our screen, but it will not be. So you will have creatures, plants, and minerals. You will have location and people, and then you will have this one, which is kind of the main mission. How can we call it? Can we call it? And this one will be disabled. Okay. we call it like your destiny or like your journey or like just main plot. I don't know. The point is that it should express the main plot of the game. Okay, so that's what this thing is made for. Main mission, main story, main story. I think main story would do it. I think main story can be okay, but it will be disabled. Okay, at the moment you cannot click on it. At the moment you cannot click on it. And then we have, okay, these rare items, which also is a bit hard for me to do, but maybe I come up with something. I need to think more about it. But rare items, I don't know, I've seen a million things with items. There was one, yeah, like this one, I don't know. No, it's a bit too small. It should be the same size of this one, actually. Just to be nice. There is a good display. Should be as big as that one, roughly. Do you recognize yourself? I think that the guy that was in that picture is here connected right now. Fuck, I don't have enough space. So for rare items, what we want to do, we want to... Actually, I don't know, boys. I have to think about it, but I think, for example, will be nice to list the special effects that you get when you are finding a new weapon with a special ability or something like this, right? I think it would be kind of cool to have it. Maybe at the end I will use exactly these pictures, you know. I'm saying no, but maybe I will say, okay, they are good enough for now. You know, our game is always half made, half done. It's never completed. So would you like to have a list of items, like, for example, the modifiers that you find? So if you found a special weapon that has been identified, to know exactly what it does. So if you find the whatever Swifty blade of the God's Thunder, okay? The Swifty blade of the God's Thunder. Do you want to put it there, like if it's your own display of rare items that you found, and it will be listed there even if you sell it? So it'll become a bit like a collectible, you know, in its, I mean, it will be a sort of collectible. But I think it will be like something that then you can display also maybe to other people somehow. I don't know exactly how yet, but it could be a gallery that you may be able to display to someone else. I mean, I can save the actual item. I mean, the type of item. And then we... Rare and special items. And then what? And then we have like factions, organizations. I think faction organization could be useful because if we expand a bit, you know, for example, there can be groups of thieves, right? Like we have already somehow. Or we can have groups of guards, like the Shadow Squadron, or you know, I don't know, the guards of the city, or maybe people are kind of confused after some time of who is who and what is what, you know. Mainly as the game becomes bigger, there may be too many to remember, and so I think that having like a, you know, like a lore thing, I think it can be useful. And I think that factions and organizations should be separate from locations and people, because location and people is more, you know, areas, regions, or special locations like the observatory, and people is like who is the crafter of this thing, who is the blacksmith in that city. But factions and organizations, I think is yeah. Let me find something for factions and organizations. I mean, it could just be a group of people like this, huh? I like this one. I don't know why, but I like that statue a lot. Even if it's very old and the graphics are very old, but still I like it quite a bit. Can also be something like this. The broom. We had the broom already. Yes, we had the broom. Did I import a new one? This picture is pretty cool, by the way. I like it. Factions and organizations. Can also be something like this. I mean, it's a bit of an, yeah, it's in a tavern, but I mean, the faction organization can also be the bard's organization, you know. So it doesn't mean that it has to be a picture big like this. This one, did you see this one? This one is a cool one. Factions and, oh my god, it is a Halloween event. Look at this. Factions and organizations. Ah, it is an Unreal Engine one. Wow, this one is super old. This screenshot is insane. Unfortunately, I copied it over multiple hard disks, and so if I look at the date, it will not be. It was still with the previous model of the dwarf, I think. Should we just have a kind of a people view like that? I think it would be nicer if it's one of the organizations that. Why is always me in these pictures? Maybe because I take the pictures. This one is cool. This one is cool. It's super old as well. Look at the grass. But at the same time, I like it. At the same time, I like it. Should we just make it smaller, or should we cut it off? I'm thinking to make it smaller, but if I need to make it smaller, I need to do it with a program that is actually not destroying the picture completely. Okay, so imagine a kind of a menu like this, okay? That you can, so when you access the compendium, the first thing that you will see is that composition. And then you are able to, so let me scale it like, oh wow, vertically I have to scale it so much. It will probably not fit. It will probably not fit because it's way bigger than the other one. Fuck. Anyway. So let me try to scale it 8, I don't know, 300, but I think we become too small then. Yeah, we have an issue. We have an issue. Unfortunately, I think I need to cut off the legs of this guy. I think I need to do something like this. And then scale it like 20%. And then cut it off a bit more, and then it will be kind of fine. Ah, the 20% horizontal is insane. Okay. Okay, I cannot do this. I think I just need to cut it off at the top. So our guy will have shorter wings. And I need to cut it off here. And I need to cut it off here. Fuck. Basically, I'm destroying the picture. Okay. This will be what we said, factions and organizations. How do we want to call it? We want to call it factions and organizations. Maybe. What is a good name? This one will be, yeah, in theory is factions, organizations, religions, gods, so is organizations. Factions, I don't know how does it translate to your language, or how does it sound in, but maybe factions is not really the right word. I think organizations is more, even if organization may look like he's organizing something more than a group or associations. I mean, what I want to say is that is group of people, right? Group of people. So group of people belonging to the same belief or to the same aim or goal or scope or mission or factions I think is a bit military. I don't know, it's like a faction in a war. No? Yeah, I don't want to accept anything. Oh my god. A group, more cliche, within a larger group. Party, government, organization of the like. Typically having different options and interests of a larger group. Party strife. No, actually faction seems to be fine. I mean, it's not particularly oriented. Synonyms. Synonyms. Discord, disagreement, schism, split, friction. What the hell? Are you real with these synonyms? Act or process of organizing. We just call it but this synonym thing is super bad in this one. It's the same as before. It's the same as before, but it's another part of the crowd, network, section, sector, group, band, I cannot type. Organization, configuration, conformation, institution, grouping, management system, alignment, assembly, design, disposal, method. I don't like any of those. I think we will stay with factions and organizations. Society, social interactions. I mean, it's more social groups, but I don't know. We will find a name. For now, I will call it factions and organizations. Or factions and associations. I don't know. Okay. The main story, actually, considering that the main story is not clickable, right? I think we should just put it at the bottom, right? Don't destroy my picture, please. Don't destroy my picture. Okay. Do you want to see where is the Mac Mini? What is the Mac Mini doing? The Mac Mini is at 12,000, remaining 4,000. He's going, but he's suffering a bit. It's taking time. I think the main story should be at the bottom because anyway, since we cannot click it, right? How close you want these pictures to be to each other? Okay, I think that is not bad. I mean, at least as an idea. Let me save it. We will save it as compendium number 3. Okay, so this could be what you see the first time you open the compendium, right? Do you like it? Do you think it's a... Then maybe, you know, we can still have anyway a menu at the top, right? But I think this will be a bit confusing because if I have another menu at the top, because actually Warframe has it, I know I'm always going back to them, but because I like them. They have anyway at the top they have, what is it? They have anyway at the top a way to navigate. The point is that if you navigate from here, you are having a completely new big pictures. So actually, the one at the top is the menu level 1, let's say. Okay, it's the menu level 1. So for us, you know, in this picture, it will just say compendium, right? Then when you click on, yeah, it will just say compendium. And it will be, okay, different color, otherwise it's too confusing with the rest, but we will find a way, okay? So it will be, you know, it's impossible to put in a different color. Okay, anyway, it will be there, it will be here, right? So compendium with the different things. You cannot click on compendium, you click on these pieces. Now, the point is what happens when you click on one of those pieces. I think when you click on one of those pieces, you will have another picture. So do we want, for example, to have another picture for creatures, plants, and minerals? Or do you think it's a bad idea? I think it's probably a bad idea. I think this one should be the only visual menu, otherwise it becomes too annoying to navigate, right? I mean, if you have like to click on this and then having another one, right, where you have, let me just give you the idea, but if you click another one where you have this guy, this guy, this guy, you know, and you have to click again, and these are separate categories with their own thingy, and then you go back and forth and you lose yourself. I think if we do more than one level, it will be very annoying to navigate. I think it will be very annoying to navigate. So I think that we should have one level only. I think we should have one level only. I mean, one level only of pictures, I mean, okay? One level only of pictures. And then we can have, so how is the next picture? How is the next page? Let me open a new paint. How is the next page after that? So we click on creatures and plants, right? What did we say that we wanted to have? So the good thing that we identified is an initial map with nice picture, one per each category to click on, okay? Which is what I did now. Organization in subsections. Now here the bad was, did I cut it off or what? No, I didn't. Why I cannot scroll then? Okay. Now the bad here was the tree of information with too many levels. So yes, if we go too many levels of the navigation, and the example was the black flag, right? Black flag menu. This one that you go Animus database, you click on it, you go Shanties, you click on it, you go location, you click on it, you go Bill Riley, you click on it. I mean, it's insane, right? Is impossible to navigate. So there was a bad example of a tree that was having too many levels. Now we can have a tree, but not with so many levels that the players is losing himself, right? Put relevant role only. Creature list vulnerability by type. Plant fundamental property or usage. Identify, highlight all new items by category individual item. Yeah, this will be very nice that you see only the new, but this is something we can do later on. You have to study the mind to get full information. One item can have multiple pieces of lore associated which can be discovered in different way. Yeah, that would be very nice as well. And then collectibles. Feathers for every bird, every fish. I really don't know if I want to put it in achievements or where, but I think we'll be in the achievement page. I think we will completely redo the achievements. I don't know when, but we have to redo it. We have to redo it. Okay, beam boom bam. So, what are we doing? Ah, yes, we are doing the sub pages. Okay, so assuming that this is the sub page for creatures, plants, and minerals. How do we want to organize this? How do we want this to be? Is it this long? I don't know. How do we want this page to be organized? Any ideas? Because if we do it by pictures again, I think we'll be okay. Let me see a bit of an example. Again, the Warframe, I think I don't like how they do single items. I think single items are super bad. So what they decided to have one full screen 3D object like this that you can basically visual. So it's fully visual, and then you have all this very weird information on the right that most of the players will not even understand. Okay, even if I play the game, these are very hard to understand. I mean, they are not in the right way. I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's super bad. This was down where they had just the creatures listed this way, creatures, item, magic, religion, but it is super bad. This is The Witcher. Yeah, The Witcher, I think I liked the point on the creatures. Right? Beasts, cursed ones, characters. Yeah, because they have beast characters here. They have like a menu level 1, menu level 2, and then menu level 3, which is this page. Okay, so this is how they do it. So they have like 3 submenus, but for us it's not a problem. If we want, we can put 3 submenus. I mean, if you want to have, you know, creatures and plants and minerals at the top, right? And we want to have by the way, here there should be a back or something, right? If you want to have, I don't know if I want to click on it, because I think it will take too much space, you know. So like if we put, here is creatures, plant, and minerals. I'm thinking if I put like 3 boxes, imagine there is a plant, okay? And imagine there is a mineral, okay? I think it will take just too much space on the page and will be kind of useless, because you will see these 3 things all the time. And I mean, why? I mean, I don't think it's a great idea. But maybe we can have a sub menu that maybe we can have with the 3 things to click. But it should be very compact, so that you are not wasting space for the rest of the information that you need. So if you want to have here, you know, a creatures box that you can click, right? So it is actually, I mean, it can even be separated if you want, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be, can be separated a bit from that one. So this can be the title, and here you can have like the three subcategories to click. I want to keep the title because I think it's consistent with this one. If I put at the top creatures, plants, and mineral to click, I think it will look weird, because not every page will be the same, and I think that for UI consistency is a bit better. So we can have creatures, plants, and minerals. I think you will never want to mix the three, right? So I think there is no reason to really put them together. I think is okay to put them like separate like this. So I think we can even have just a really three completely separate buttons, right? So I think I can even go, yeah, something. I mean, I think we can have them completely separate. I think will probably be better actually. Yeah, I'm changing ideas a bit, but I'm just trying to find the right way. I need to redo the boxes, I think, but it's okay. So maybe we can have just three things at the top, organized however we want to organize them. Fuck, I knew it. Right, we can have them organized as we want, and just having three buttons. Maybe in the future we will have more, but for now there will be like three things. I think if they are all aligned to the left, I think would be nice. I mean, it would be okay. And the one that you click, it will be highlighted in a different color, so it will be easy to understand what you have selected. Yeah, I think something like this is compact enough, and it doesn't make too much mess of having other pictures or other stuff. So I think it will be good enough, something like that, right? I think it will be good enough. And now we will make it nice, and it will look nice and whatever. We will find the right colors and everything. But I think just something simple like that. So the title at the top, the possibility to go back, creatures, plants, and minerals. Okay. Now you click on one. Okay. Now you click on one. So now I think that when you click on one, the one that I like the most is the one of The Witcher, right? The one of The Witcher where they have the beast in the middle and his information on the right and the vulnerability at the bottom, or anyway some quick information that is telling you what is vulnerable against. And obviously there will be a piece of information to discover, right? So here we go into the discussion, right, of which pieces of information you can discover and which pieces you cannot, and if an item can have, if a creature can have multiple discoverable pieces. I think that would be very nice to have. Where did I have the... Wait, I lost myself. Wait a second. Wait a second. No, it's not here. It's not here. I have so many files about Plane Shift, you have no idea. You have no idea how many websites, how many sub-website pages, files, pictures, movies, things that I created during the years that are like millions. That's insane. Where is the picture of the guy fighting the creature, which was very nice? The guy fighting the Gorwell, the tree guy, the tree thingy. I cannot see it. For some reason I cannot see it. This one is nice, but This one, it can be nice for lore. I mean, with all this library and all these books. We didn't see it before. No, I was searching the one. I was searching the one, and we can take new pictures. So maybe you can ask some of you to take some pictures in the game. But the best would be to do it in Unreal, I guess. Come on, where was that picture? I'm looking at them all now. There are like 300, so here it is. Okay. So this one, so if we click on creatures, yeah, obviously we'll have to be the creature without the guy, okay? So will be one picture of the actual creature without the guy and without the background, right? So will be the actual, I don't know if we want to have one picture of the creature in his environment, or we want to have a picture of the creature like they did it in The Witcher, which is basically the creature by itself, right? It looks a bit like a 3D object, but you can rotate it. I think the advantage is that you can rotate it and you can animate it. So yeah, probably will be nice to have this creature animated on screen if you want, right? I think it could be cool. Could be cool to have it animated. So actually will be the creature on a kind of a black background, right? And the ability for us to animate it, I think would be nice. I don't know how big it should be. I mean, it should not be extremely big because otherwise there is no space for anything else, right? So let's say that you selected creatures, and how do we organize this page? I really like the idea of the vulnerabilities, but I also like the fact, to have, you know, multiple entries based on what you know. I think I would like to clearly split between lore and gameplay data. I think there will be some gameplay data, okay? In a bit of a... So I think we need to create a kind of an icon, which is kind of a piece of knowledge. I don't know exactly how we can make it, but if it's a brain or if it's I don't know how to represent a piece of knowledge, but yeah, I think it's hard to represent a piece of knowledge. But like a small book, I don't know, it can be like a small book, or we can go back to the library thingy that I liked. No, I cannot find the library. Fuck. The library, where are you? Okay, see. I don't know, maybe we can have just a bookshelf piece, or yeah, I don't know. Ah, it's super dark. I mean, it's not just dark, it's like invisible. Okay. Maybe like this is a bit better. Well, still very dark, but yeah, because we have a white background. Obviously, the background will not be white. The background will probably be black, but I haven't understand how the codex know when you found a new item. That's the good part, my friend. We have listed it. We have listed it here. I have some ideas based on the category. I don't know if you were in that stream, in that live stream, but basically this is the activate, what I call activation, right? Is how this piece of information is going inside the compendium, right? So in certain cases is through quest or through dialogues. In other cases is by studying the creature or killing the creature. For the rare items, for example, is through identify of NPC. About locations is reaching the locations. And also is through quest or dialogues or proximity. So these are some ideas of the activation. I didn't fully determine it, but definitely there will be an active role of the player in there will be an active role of the player in discovering those pieces, right? I think so. So now the problem is the following. How do we represent the knowledge that you have of a creature? So to me, it should be multiple pieces. So yeah, to me, it should be multiple pieces. Now, I don't know if you want to create a set of categories which are always defined and we apply to all the creatures, or if you want to have certain creatures to have different piece of lore. But I think if we can keep them standard, will be very nice for us, because it will be a bit easier for us as developers to actually create this information. So what I'm thinking, this is not very easy, but what I'm thinking, is there any other game that was doing this, or was there any other game? This one was Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But this one is totally useless to me. I think they had only one piece. You see, this one, for example, is Elite Dangerous, and he has the same concept of a menu made of pictures, which I think is very nice. I really like it. I really like it. There is their codex entry. Now, what I'm thinking is, can we determine, and this one is Elder Scroll Online. So what I'm thinking is something like this, okay? When we define a creature, okay, I will say it badly, and then we will refine it, okay? But let's assume that we have, I don't know, 4 levels, okay, of information. Let's assume that we have 4 levels of information. And these 4 levels of information are 4 pieces that you can gather some way, somehow, okay? And these 4 pieces of information are actually made of these small books or just paragraph that I don't know yet. I don't know if I prefer to have, you know, the 4 pieces like this, or to just have it like this, or to just not have these things to click at all. But so to just have a list, you know, to just have a single text. But what I want to say is that I think we can have, for one creature, considering we don't have so many creatures, and I think it's important to give a bit of a background. Not even taking place in north of the country like Norway or Sweden or Denmark. It is in England, and England was not. That's why I don't play as Valhalla. Okay, because they have some inconsistency in the background. So let's say we have 4 levels of information, okay? It can be 10, okay, but now let's say 4. So the first level will be, for example, just the fact that you saw it one time, okay? So you saw it one time, and so you know how the creature is, and yeah, but I mean, just to see how the creature is, I think is too little. So probably the level 1, just having as I saw the creature, I think is a bit useless. I think is a bit useless. I think that at least we need one first level of study or combat. So if you actually fight that creature one time, or if you actually studied that creature one time. Now I don't know what kind of information we can have, but I think is the problem is that, you know, like if we go like habitat, ecology, you know, nutrition, you know, tribe, how do you call it, the how it interacts with other creatures of the same type, organization meaning if it's a tribe, if it's a group, if it's a pack, or if it's a solitary monster, you know. Yeah, I think these are the basic categories, right? I could open it because I have next to me, but let me try D&D, because AD&D I think is something that is not really wait a second, I think I have it somewhere anyway. It's probably something that I should not have, but I have somewhere. Wait a second. Let me go in my D&D directory. I think I have it somewhere. I think it's on the other PC. No? Ah, no, is here. Ah, yes. It's on the other PC, fuck it. It's on the other PC. It's on the other PC, so I cannot show you. Let me see if I find it on the other PC and we can search it online. Yes, I have it. I have it. Yeah, but I think I can find it. Come on, I think we can find it. D&D, let's search a D&D 3rd edition, which is pretty old and so should not be a problem to download it. We're not infringing too many copyrights, okay? Yes, exactly. We're not infringing too many. Nice. That is exactly what I was searching for, but apart from all these descriptions. Okay. It's very different from the old one though, because it's mostly based on combat characteristics. Yeah, organization like solitary brood, climate, terrain, yes. Combat. Yeah, combat I think is a good idea. I think the old one was nicer, by the way. I don't know where I'm gonna click, so... So I'm not responsible of what I'm clicking on. This one is like 300 megabytes. I mean, I have most of these manuals in mind, so it's just that I want to review them. But yes, okay. So this one is the old one that had actually these sections separated, right? Like combat, habitat, society, ecology, which is pretty much the one that I typed here, except for combat, but habitat, ecology, nutrition, organization, right? Ecology. So yeah, these are the chapters. So basically, these chapters are basically always the same across all the creatures, right? And some may be easier to find out and other may be harder to find out. I think that the point is that it will be nice if it's not just pure lore, right? It's not just something that stays there, but also it gives you some suggestion for the game, some tips for the game, right? On how to approach the monster or on how to whatever, right? This is why I liked the This is why I liked The Witcher vulnerable against here at the bottom, right? I think this vulnerable against at the bottom is very nice because it's telling you what are, you know, the things that you can do in combat against that particular creature. Assuming you want to fight them, then now it's not the same for all the creatures, right? But okay, let me just list what they have. They have combat. I think we can have vulnerabilities. Combat, I think we can have vulnerabilities. Now the problem will be, You know what will be the problem? For example, habitat. Let me see if they put habitat and society together. They put this together. They put habitat and society. You know what is our problem? Is that if we really create an habitat, if we really create an habitat, then we need to stick to it for real in the game, right? So like if we decide that this monster are always or are often present in forests, then we will really have to place them in forest. At the moment, I don't think that's the case. I think at the moment they stay a bit where the hell we place them originally. So there is no real correlation between. I mean, they may have a preferred place, and then you may find them also in other places, right? Which I think is reasonable, but yeah, but I think anyway, I think is reasonable. Maybe you can also specify what are the regions where you can find them more often. Okay, so let's try. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but let's try. So if under habitat, okay, is telling you the typical or the common or the common environment. Common is not the right word, I guess. The typical environment where you can find this creature. Okay. I don't know, for example, is near to lakes, near to rivers, in the forests, I don't know, in the sewers, in the swamps, I don't know, whatever, you know. I mean, if they have a preferred habitat, right? And I think actually habitat and ecology, we can probably put it together because yes, I mean, speaking of what they eat, even if in the monstrous manual is separate. So he's saying like, in order to survive, the Amvurax supplement is going to diet with quantity of gold. Wow, this monster is ingesting gold. The ability to digest and utilize gold and other ore makes it possible to develop. Okay. And then here is giving you some in-game hints, you know. But I think, you know, habitat and ecology should go really together. I'm not expecting you know, multiple NPC to give you different piece of incremental piece of information. Because the ecology is basically the life cycle. Okay, so how this creature eats, how this creature reproduce itself, if they have a nest, if they have you know. But maybe yes, maybe it can be separate, you know. What is the definition of ecology? I think I can find it. There's a branch where concerning the spatial temporal pattern distribution of organisms. But the wetlands, no, it's not exactly what we mean, but I mean yes, but it is really too broad. It is really too broad. I mean ecology of creatures. But anyway, ecology of creatures is how they. So yes, is nutrition is nutrition is basically their life cycle and lifespan is their reproduction is whatever. Mainly those three things. Okay. So you could find these two pieces of information on NPC, I mean, speaking with NPC on a book, or studying yourself the creature. Okay, so if you study the creature long enough, you will be able to notice, right? Now, organization, which is basically but organization is very simple at the end. Organization is only, I mean, it's like one line, you know? So it's like solitary or packs or tribes, or so I don't know if we can really have one entry for that. I don't know if we can have an entry for that. I think it should be. I think it should just be under ecology, and that's it. So basically, it's where the first one is where you find it. Where is most likely to find this creature? Ecology is a bit of lore. I mean, it's not really important for gameplay, but it's a bit of lore, like what they eat, maybe you can feed them, you know, maybe with nutrition you can find their food and feed them. Their life cycle. So there is a bit of just generic lore on the creature. Then I think combat is very relevant, and then also loot is very important. Loot meaning what are the pieces of their body that you can reuse and how you can reuse it. So for example, a bear, I don't know, has a very nice fur that you can reuse and make clothes on with it, right? So I don't know, or make a tapestry, or make right. So how do we say loot in a way that is not gaming oriented but is more lore oriented? Basically is what you can use of the creature if you kill it. Loot is super bad. I don't want to say loot, okay? Because loot is bad. I mean, it's not RP, it's not roleplay enough. I need another word like loot that express the same concept, but it's not loot. Is not loot. Is parts, pieces, components. No, Batezu. I remember this guy. This demon. They were like this one were like the end game, you know, when you were a game master and your players were like level 15 and you didn't know exactly what to throw at them anymore because they were too strong, then okay, let's go with the Batetsu. Alchemical components, drops, prides, booty, spoils. Booty makes me think to something else, but although not all the creature drops are useful in alchemy. This one, for example, is different. This one has a general category. But I think just because they are different. Il basilisk. I think I have put in my games every and each one of these freaking creatures during the years. Maybe not the bear. Giant beetle. It was more of a Dark Sun kind of plunder. Spoils. Maybe spoils. Spoils of war. Spoils of killing. I don't think I can search it on Google because We can maybe go with synonyms and see if spoils triggers any other nice, because spoils I think is very close to what I'm thinking, but it's very, very close. Okay, it's triggering booty. Cut, gain, goods. Pillage. Pillage I think is medieval enough, but I think you are pillaging more a castle than pillaging a creature. But prey, prides, swag. There is also swag. I don't think is what we mean, right? Hot goods. Take, plunder, remains. Spoils. I think spoils is not bad. How does spoils translate to Italian? Just so. Bottino. Yeah, I mean it's similar to loot then at the end. You're using the same thesaurus. I think spoils is not bad. I mean it's a bit better than loot. I mean it still means loot, but I don't know if two hunters is like yes, imagine that we are me and you, two hunters going to hunt in the forest certain animals, and we are speaking of what we can get. I don't think we will say we will find some loot. I think a video gamer will say we will find some loot. We will say we will find some, I don't know. Let's call it spoils for now. I don't know if it translates well in different languages though. I think that spoils is a bit harder for people like me that are not native English, but I think it's understandable. So I think we can have a section under combat, which is like the way they fight, the vulnerabilities. So I think we need to say which kind of weapons they have, if they have any magic attacks or not, if they have any vulnerabilities, and if they have any strategies, or I'm saying the way they attack, if they have any particular, I don't know, they eat you. They eat you alive, or they slash you with whatever their weapons, or they pierce you at distance with magical thingies, or I don't know. Okay, combat will be all about that. Will also be about vulnerabilities, and I think it will be also be about. I think strategy is a bit too complex, I think, for me at the moment, because our NPC are pretty stupid. They just attack. So let's remove strategies, which is a nice idea in case we are making a real game and not just a hobby game. So I'm sorry to shatter your dreams right now, but that's what it is. So let's say weapons, magic attacks, armor, and vulnerability. Now, I don't know if this one can be split in two, because there is a lot of information, a lot of useful game information. So maybe it can be a piece, can be divided in two. Because the first one is interesting to me as a player, because I know where I can find them. Ecology is a bit useless as a player, is useful as a role player, right? Because you learn really what the tracer is. And combat is very nice as a player, because it tells you a lot. So you will have to study a lot the creature to get this information, or you will have to ask to someone that has really a lot of knowledge. But I think that this is very nice. Okay, and then the last one, I don't know, maybe we will split it in two levels, and then the last one will be spoils. Let me save this though, because we worked already enough on it. And the last one will be spoils. Spoils of war. I don't know why spoils automatically triggers in my mind spoils of war. Spoils. Spoils. Yes. So these are, pieces. I mean, loot. Yes. Pieces you can cut off and reuse in terms of, I mean, if he's a creature. Now, if he's like a human, I mean, we will have to understand if under creatures, because originally we had the idea to split player characters, pets, and player races, pets, and creatures and mounts, right? So if it can be used as a mount, or if it can be taken as a pet, where do we put it? We put it in ecology. It is a bit too rough. Huh? I say like 4 ingredient, alchemy ingredient. I don't know. And pure loot can be weapons, but the problem is that if it's like we say, oh, the creature is rogue. I mean, that's not what I want to have in the compendium. I mean, the creature cannot be rogue. Rogue I think is super stupid. Rogue can be anyone, can have any type of weapons, anything on him. So I don't think the loot will be listed. I don't think that the loot will be listed, even if it exists. Like, let's say that we have mercenaries, right? Mercenaries. So that's why I wanted to separate playable races, I mean sentient races, from creatures, because creatures is one thing. If you are meeting a gladiator, if you meet a gladiator, I mean, loot can be anything. So it can be from one dagger to the best weapon in the world, So I think spoils is mainly this. I mean, if what you can reuse if you kill it. Right? Now, there are a few other questions though, because, for example, where do we place if it can be a pet or not, or it can be a mount or not, right? Where do we place this information? Because it could be useful, right? Do we put it under ecology? Maybe we put it under ecology. What do you think? We put it under ecology. Which, by the way, will be kind of, I mean, evident somehow, because, but it depends, because maybe certain mounts, you will be able to use them as mounts only after you tamed the animal, right? And so maybe you don't know. I mean, you don't know by default that. Okay, so let's say that we have. Okay, let's say that we have these 4 pieces of information, right? That you can discover about the creature, right? You have these 4 pieces of information. How do we organize these 4 pieces of information on the screen? How do we? So assuming that our screen is finishing here, okay? How do we put these 4 levels, which you may You may have only one of them, right? You may have only one of them. You may have only one of them. Do we want to have like 4 empty slots? Do we want to have 4 empty slots and then as soon as you discover them, they get filled in? Or we said, no, we don't want to have the number of things to discover. And so we don't care. And so we don't care. And game design, boys. What is your ideas? Tell me, guys. What is your idea? Should we have like 4 empty boxes and then for the creatures? I am speaking only creatures. They will have this 4 level of information that I described there. I think it's pretty much. I think it's a good set.
I will find a way.
I think I will use.
To set things right.
I will find a way. Yes. Thank you. I think those 4 sets are good 4 sets. I think I would use exactly those 4. I think they came out right, so I would use those 4 levels. I think that's final. So they want to have like 4 empty boxes with, you know, ecology, habitat, and so you have like an empty box. And then you fill it out when you are discovering it, and you can click on it, or they automatically expand, or because I mean for the creatures, knowing that there are 4 pieces, I think is not too bad. I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, it's not like spoiling you, you know, too much. Knowing that there are, now you don't know how many creatures you will find, you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to find this thing, so do we want to have like 4 empty that then when you discover it they become like filled in and you see the text? Or do we just want to have a text, one single block of text that is like explaining? I think I like the idea of having the 4 empty that you fill out, because it's a bit of a mini quest, you know, it's a mini achievement. So it's a mini collection, right? And I'm one of those players, so I really like to collect things and say, okay, I got them all. So so maybe we can do something like that, right? We can have just for creatures, okay? So we are speaking only creatures. Now the question is if we then split the sentient races, because, you know, I think, I mean, if we take a Dermorian, right, or if we take an Althrir or a Kran, we cannot really have this, you know. We cannot have this list. We cannot have combat, we cannot have spoils, we cannot have habitat. Well, we can have a bit of habitat and a bit of ecology. Yeah, habitat and ecology we can, but combat and spoils we cannot. So how do we split? How do we split between races and creatures? And what kind of different information we want to display, right? Because what I'm thinking is that you will have here another block before this, which is actually races. But the problem is that if we do this, what is a race? You know, what is a race? Because a race, okay, a race you can say is the playable races, right? Is these races, but there are other races which are anyway organized enough, like the Dergir, for example. Good night, Monty. Thank you for stopping by. By the way, the Mac Mini is still going, huh? The Mac Mini is at... Where is that? Is at 3,000 missing. Is missing 3,000 shaders to compile. Did anyone connect, by the way? I don't know. I didn't look at it. Okay, so I was reading a bit of the chat. So the question is, do we want to have the playable races as a separate category? I think yes. I mean, I think I cannot fit, you know, I cannot fit one of those races into these 4 categories. I think is too restrictive. I mean, it's too oriented to creatures, like spoils or combat. You cannot say how a Dermorian does in combat, right? Because it can be a wizard, it can be a fighter, it can be a thief, it can be anything. So I cannot really tell you how it does combat, how it fights. Right, and I cannot tell you what is his loot for sure. It's impossible to say what is his loot. So I can tell you a bit about, but also the habitat. Okay, I can tell you that they prefer to be in forest and such, but it's not that interesting, you know, as a race. So I think that the races should be separate. And I think it would be only the playable races. So this is why I think it should be something like playable races, but I don't know if I want to call it like sentience races, like they are only the ones that are actually organized in cities, right? But then you touch like a fine line, because like the Dergir, if you take the Dergir, I don't know if we have a picture, but anyway, hopefully, yes. So the Dergir are anyway kind of sentient races, you know, and saying that they can organize themselves. So they build houses, they build villages, they can speak somehow. So do we say that this guy goes into the races, or do we say that he goes into the creatures? You know, that's the dilemma that I have at the moment, because I don't know how to split them. I don't know if I want to split them, and I don't know how to split them. I think to me the best would be the sentient races or like evoluted races. I don't know, the one that build cities, you know. But then you can say, oh, by the way, but the gobbles, these guys maybe can build villages as well. They can have their own history, you know, and their own background. And so how the hell? So or we make creatures, and then these two are not applicable to the sentient race. Yeah, probably we can also do that. We can also do that. So we can do this, boys. I think is easier for me than trying to split them. I think we can do this. We can keep creatures, but we can have some of these things that are applicable or not based on the race, okay? And in particular for the one that are organized in cities, I think we can have separate for example, we can have a bit of history of the race, right? I don't know if we want to have it, but do we want to have it? Do we want to have yeah, I think we want to have at least one history block. So let's say that we have a bit of history. I think it makes sense. So let's say that we have let's say that we have fuck, I cannot put it in the middle for some reason. So I can do something like this, look. I can do something like this, okay? And I think the order will be, I think the order is okay. This order is okay. Okay. And then we can say, so we can say, so applicable to creatures, right? And applicable to player races and some sentient creatures, okay? Wow, this thing is too long, but okay. Okay. I'm just thinking, but this I think is what I want to do. Now, it will not be displayed this way, okay? So this is just for us. You send me a DM, okay. What do I think of this? Yeah, but I cannot read it now. I mean, or I do the stream or I read that, one or the other. So I will read it later, okay? There's some people having an issue with the plane shift 77. So this is only for us, okay? So it's not for is not for the players. But what I want to say is that if is a creature, we will have this, we will have this, we will have this, and we will have this. And if is sentient creature, we will have this, we will have this, and we will have this, right? So this one will not, the white one will not be available. Okay. So basically for a creature, yes, you will have this 4, and for a sentient race, you will have this 3. So actually it will be 3 or 4 levels depending. So there will be 3 or 4 levels. 3 or 4 levels depending on the creature, right? 3 or 4 levels of information selected between one of those, right? And so the last one here will be history, and I think in the history we can put I think we can put a bit of what we have on the website. I think it will be nice, you know, if people can learn also in game. So it can be like the background story, like the notable people, notable heroes, you know, things like that. I don't know, and something else, you know, maybe the main cities. Yeah, the main cities I think could be interesting as well, and things like that. Okay, I think it is good. No, I think it is good. I think it is good. Unfortunately, it's starting to be a bit late, and I need is midnight, is after midnight, so I think I need to go. But I think that is kind of a good starting point of what I want to do. Now the problem will be the activation in game of these pieces, but at least we know that we need to write down, you know, these pieces as blocks of information, and then we need a way to assign an ID to each of them and then trigger them from the game, right? Or from books. Now from books, yeah, also from books. I think it should be also from books that you find around the world. Yes, absolutely. Did I say books in the for creatures? Maybe the basic information can come from books. Some of those 4 can come from books that you find in specific places in the world, right? Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna go because it's a bit late, but I didn't specify the full action plan, but basically the action plan for the compendium is really to define the layout, which is a bit of what we did tonight. So at the moment, we have kind of organized at a very high level the information that we want and how we want it divided or split. We try to outline a first view of what could be a possible, you know, entry point in the compendium, right? Now, if you can have better pictures with better rendering, with better, you know, better grass, at least for the one in the left, perfect. If not, we can also use this one, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be clickable, right? 4 of them will be clickable, and the rest and the main story will not be clickable, right? Then if you click on creatures and plant, you go here. Now here we still have to think a bit about it, because I think that we need to think how this UI is organized, but I think we kind of have a good so probably this one will be fully on the right, unfortunately, but or maybe we will split it in two, like having, you know, history and habitat and ecology on the right, and this one on the left. Maybe, I don't know, I have to think about it. Like there are two set of texts, and so the one that is more role play will be on the left, the one that is more will be on the right. I don't know, I need to think about it. Okay, see you guys. If you are new to the stream, please click on follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. That will help me and doesn't cost you anything. But if you want to do the extra mile and help us even a bit more, we have a Patreon site, which is patreon.com/planeshift, where you can get access to specific videos and also to the alpha at the moment. So the alpha is released, and if you are a Patreon, you get access to it, and so you can help us build the game. Okay. By the way, I should flag this one as done because it's completed. Okay. See you boys next time. I will see you soon. I think I will stream tomorrow, probably. Most likely. Bye bye.